Hey everybody, this video is a slow burn, and it functions almost more like a podcast than a video. There are plenty of spicy visuals, if I don't say so myself, but you really don't even need to watch this, you can just listen to it. If you're here because you are addicted to your phone, watching something this slow might be a struggle, but after kind of a year of really fighting my phone addiction, I feel like I finally cracked it, and I have a lot to say on the matter that will hopefully be helpful to you. So, thanks for watching. Hey everybody. This video is a testing 1, 2, 3. I'm 28 years old, which means smartphones became wildly popular when I was about 16, but it wasn't until around, I'd say maybe 5 years ago, kind of when short form video was getting really popular, that my cell phone addiction started really getting in the way of every single aspect of my life in a pretty serious way. I'm going to take you back to the start. I was born in 95.
He's coming back, baby.
Which makes me part of the last generation to grow up without smartphones. That's not to say that my childhood was totally analog. We would stay up all night playing video games. Here's my mom trying to convince us to stop playing video games and watch a movie.
Your first perfect Christmas? No! No! Now this one sounds like a baby one, but it's good. Curious George? No!
Little shitheads. I got my first flip phone when I was 11 or 12, and I started using social media when I was around 15, but at that time it wasn't what it is today. So I feel really lucky that I just barely got through childhood and adolescence and all these formative times without social media. But nonetheless, here I am at almost 30 making a video about my phone addiction. So, what went wrong? In the foreword of the 1957 book Drugs and the Mind, Nathan Klein writes, "Pascal has said, most of men's troubles come from their not being able to sit quietly in their chambers. And the present volume is really a profound history of man's attempt to wiggle, worm, and squirm his way out of himself. So, humans have been trying to escape the uncomfortableness of our own minds forever. And now we have this magic rectangle attached to our thighs that allows us to escape ourselves at any time. And it's, for the most part, totally socially acceptable. I don't really enjoy using my phone, but I use it as this sort of binky to numb my anxieties. I think all addictions are kind of like binkies, and I would argue that the smartphone is the most insidious binky ever created. Opiates and alcohol and cigarettes are probably more evil, but the phone is the most insidious. You wouldn't give a child a pack of cigarettes, but you might give a child a smartphone. And that phone can indeed have grave effects. There has been a massive and sudden rise in young teen suicide rates that coincides with social media becoming widely popular. You might be thinking, gee, maybe I should use my phone less, but It's not that easy. The philosopher Brendan de Kennedy writes, "The plight of addiction is that of having a powerful part of your mind push you relentlessly and automatically toward behaviors you do not actually want to do." A friend of mine recently told me a story that I'd like to recount. He was in Las Vegas working on a TV show, and he got back pretty late one night. As he was heading to the elevators, he noticed an old woman playing the slot machines, and didn't really think much of it. So he went up to his room, went to sleep, and got up pretty early the next morning to get to work. And the elevator doors opened, and sure enough, that same old woman was sitting in the lobby still playing the slot machines. To me, that story depicts the realities of gambling addiction, and maybe it's easy for you to know that you would never get addicted to something like slot machines, but trading sleep for cheap thrills and quick hits is exactly what so many of us are doing with our phones. Your phone might not rob you of your money, but it will rob you of your time and your ability to focus. Maybe this is sounding a bit dramatic, but what we're really talking about here is your whole existence and whether your existence is one of quiet misery or one of effort and curiosity and fun. So the question is, how do we break out of that cycle? We're warming up, we're cooling down, we're finding all the fun of fun. I've been thinking about my phone addiction as a two-headed dragon, where one dragon head is the habitual dependency or addiction I have to my phone, and the other dragon head is that uncomfortableness of sitting with one's self. And for the first year or two of fighting my phone addiction, I was only focused on one head of the dragon. I deleted apps off my phone, I turned my phone to black and white, I set time limits for the most addicting apps, I would turn my phone off for 24 hours. I tried all these sort of tricks, but none of it really stuck because the other head of the dragon remained perfectly intact. Oh great, so all I need to do is get rid of my anxiety and I'll be good to go. Obviously not that simple, but a war that you need to wage. For me, I think a lot of my anxiety comes from a sort of long-term procrastination of avoiding the work that my gut or my spirit is calling me to do. Right as I was starting to have some success with making videos online, I kind of walked away from it. And for the past 5 years, my gut has been telling me to make creative films and share them online, while my brain, which has been hijacked by this highly addictive dopamine device, is saying, no thanks. The problem might seem fairly obvious, but it took me a long time and a lot of journaling to figure this out, that as long as I was shying away from doing the good work, I was never going to be able to kick my phone addiction. My screen time has gone from around 3.5 hours to around 1.5 hours. If I'm able to keep this up and I live until 80, I've saved myself 37,960 hours. Divided by 16 waking hours in a day is 2,372.5 days, or 6.5 years. I still have days where I get sucked into my phone, and when I'm not on my phone, it's not like I'm drinking in the richness of life. I spend a lot more time just kind of sitting around or juggling. But the idea is that over time, my ability to sit with myself will improve, my focus will improve, I'll do work that's more meaningful, I'll be less irritable. I promise you there is more to life than learning about what jockstrap Patrick Mahomes used in Super Bowl 58. It's garbage. It's all garbage. This video is garbage. Okay, well, maybe not this video, but I can't occasion an epiphany in you. That's sort of what I'm trying to do, but ultimately, it's gotta come from you, and it doesn't need to be a lightning bolt. You can take tiny, tiny, tiny baby steps in the right direction. Thanks for watching.